Alright, skill number 9, multiplying polynomials. The directions say multiply and simplify and use an area model if needed. I'll show the area model. I think it's a nice way to represent multiplying. You have learned probably at a young age that multiplying length times width in a rectangle gives you area. So if you're multiplying two things together, those two things could be represented as length and width of a rectangle, and you can do that for these three problems. Our first one is 4 times x minus 7. So I'm multiplying two things together. So I could call the width of this rectangle 4, and across the top edge I could call that x minus 7. So it's here's x, here's the minus 7. I have two terms across the top, so I'll split this up into two pieces. I have one term here, I'll leave it there. If I find the area of these two smaller sections, 4 times x is the area of this piece. 4 times a negative 7 is negative 28. So the whole thing is length times the width, which was that original problem, 4 times x minus 7. But it's the same as the two smaller parts, 4x minus 28. And that is my answer. Letter B, x plus 6 and x plus 5. Once again, multiplying two things together. So I can call them, one of those the width, one of those the length. It doesn't matter. I'll call x plus 6 across the top. So here's my x and here's my plus 6. I'll call the x plus 5 going down the side for my width, so x, and then I have plus 5. I have two terms across the top, so I'll split this up into two pieces. I have two terms across the side, so I'll make that into two pieces also. So now I have four little cubbies in this rectangle. I want to find the area of the four smaller parts, and that represents the area of the whole thing, which is x plus 6 times x plus 5. So this part, x times x is x squared. This right here, x times 6 is 6x. 5 times x, 5x goes here. And 5 times 6, 30 goes here. So my answer is all four of these terms combined as like terms. Only two are actually like terms. So I get x squared. And 6x and 5x is 11x, and then plus 30, and that is the same as x plus 6 times the quantity x plus 5. Last one, once again, multiplying two things together. Those two polynomials can be length and width of a rectangle. I'll put the 3x plus 4 on the side. It's a little bit shorter. Here's 3x and here's plus 4. This has three terms, x squared. I'll use the top for that, and minus 5x, and then plus 2. So two terms along the edge, cuts this up into two pieces. 3 across the top, I cut that up into three pieces. And I find the area of all the smaller parts, and then add up all six little cubbies, and that's the product of these two polynomials in that area model. So 3x times x squared is 3x cubed. 3x times minus 5x is minus 15x squared. 3x times 2 is 6x. And now the bottom row, 4 times x squared, 4x squared. 4 times minus 5x is minus 20x, and 4 times 2 is 8. So these six cubbies are the product of these two polynomials. Let's see if we have any like terms. 3x cubed is the only x cubed term. I have minus 15x squared and 4x squared. That makes minus 11x squared. And then I have 6x and minus 20x, that makes minus 14x. And then I have plus 8. So that is the product of those two polynomials. Alright, here are three problems for you to try. As always, pause the video, work on these three problems. When you're done, watch the rest of the video, check your work, see how you did. Alright, I'm assuming you worked these three problems out and you're checking your work. Here are the answers. First, 5 times x plus 3. I'll write that using the area model, 5, and here's my x plus 3. One term here, two terms across the top. Find the area of the smaller parts and add them up. 5 times x is 5x, 5 times 3 is 15, so this is 5x plus 15. So that's what 5 times the quantity x plus 3 is. It's distributive property, but the area model is just a place to show your work and keep organized. Here, two things multiplied, put it in the area model. You don't have to use the area model, but I'll show these with it. I'll do a 2x plus 7 across the top and x minus 3 across the side. That's my length and width. Two terms here, cut it up into two pieces. Two terms on the side, cut that up into two pieces. So now the four pieces in here give me the product of those two polynomials. 2x times x is 2x squared. X times 7 is 7x. 2x times negative 3 is negative 6x. And negative 3 times 7 is negative 21. So my answer is these four combined. Two are like terms, 7x and minus 6x. So I have 2x squared 7x minus 6x is 1x, or just plus x, and then minus 21. And last one, once again, multiplying two things together can be shown as length and width in a rectangle, then find the area. So I'll call x minus 5 this side, since it's a little bit shorter, and x squared, and plus 4x, and minus 3 across the top, because I have a little more room to write. So two terms here, cut that across in two pieces. Three terms across the top, cut that in three pieces going down. Find the area of these 6 cubbies, add them all up, and that's the product of those two polynomials. X times x squared is x cubed, x times 4x is 4x squared, and x times negative 3 is negative 3x. The bottom row, negative 5 times x squared is negative 5x squared. Negative 5 times 4x is negative 20x, and then negative 5 times negative 3 is 15. So my answer for this product is all 6 of these combined, but they're not all like terms. I have x cubed, I have 4x squared minus 5x squared, which is minus x squared, or minus 1x squared. And then I have minus 3x and minus 20x, that gives me minus 23x, and I have plus 15. So that is the product of those two polynomials. Okay, and that is the end of skill number 9.